Hello, welcome to a lesson on long division with Miss Adams. In this long division problem, we see that we have 3,790 divided by 4 equals, well, a problem for us to figure out. I'm going to grab a pen down here, choose a red pen so you can see it well, and let's learn. The dividend is the number we are trying to divide. In this case, 3,790 is called our dividend. That's a vocabulary word. 4 is the divisor. We're trying to find out how many times 4 goes into the dividend 3,790. I imagine it'll be a lot of times. Quotient is the vocabulary word for the answer we're trying to find. We're looking for a quotient. So let's move on and try to find that quotient. This problem is written horizontally with the division symbol, and what I want to do is change the way it's written. I want to write it out with the division bar, and inside the division bar I'm going to put the dividend 3,790. We say this first, 3,790, and then we do divided by our divisor of 4. We do not read this 4 divided by 3,790. That does not make sense. That's not how it's read. That's backwards. What I like to do is refer to a mnemonic device, which is a string of sayings that's easy to remember, and it'll help me flow through the steps better. The mnemonic device I'm using today is Dracula's mother sucks chicken blood. Each letter stands for a different step in my long division cycle. Let's take a look. I approach the problem and I ask myself, 3 divided by 4 equals, and I go, wait a minute, I can't really do that well. So some people like to put a little X here to remind them not to write any number up above there because 3 cannot be divided by 4 at this point. So let's move on to 37. Can 37 be D, that's Dracula, divided by 4? Why, yes it can. I ask myself, what is 37 divided by 4? And I know that 9 comes close. And now I move on to mother. And mother stands for M in multiplication, so 9 times 4 multiplied is 36. I'm careful to keep my number columns lined up, my place value. I've got the 3 from the 3,000s lined up here, and the 7 and the 6 in the hundreds place lined up. I'm going to perform my S, subtraction. This is for S sucks. So 7 minus 6 is 1, 3 minus 3 is nothing. I'm going to leave it blank instead of putting the 0. At this point, I want to see chicken. I want to check, is 1 greater than or less than the 4? We're in good shape because it's less than. Now finally, B for blood. I'm going to bring down the 9, and I'm going to be very careful to keep my place value again. Notice how these guys are lined up like soldiers in columns. 3 over 3, 7, 6, 1, 9 over the 9. I ask myself, at the beginning of the cycle, since I got down all the way to blood, now I got to come back up and start the cycle again. 19 divided by 4, I know that that can happen 4 times. I do the M, mother, multiplication, that is 16, because 4 times 4 is 16. And I do S, subtraction. I get a 9 minus 6 is a 3. I checked myself before I wrecked myself with the C for chicken. Is 3 bigger than or less than a 4? We're in good shape. He's smaller. So now I can move on to bring down for blood and place the 0 for a 30. I ask myself, 30 divided by, we're back at Dracula again, starting the cycle for the last time. 4 goes into 30. Well, close enough, 7 times. That equals a 28. We weren't quite there to the 30. I perform my subtraction. I get a 2, and I see that I'm checking myself. I'm in good shape. It's less than a 4, but I have nobody here to bring down. So it looks like I'm done, and I leave myself a remainder 2. My quotient is 947, remainder 2. How did you do?